Atau kamu semua tahu kot rasanya ikan paus dia akan keluarkan air ke atas kan? Ha, ni pandangan atas ikan paus tu. Tengok dah. And awak tengok bentuk dia sebiji macam hidung kan. Sebab memang hidung ikan paus ni sebenarnya. Ikan paus ni hidung bukan dekat sini. Ikan paus ni dipindah ke atas. Dia nak memudahkan proses nak buang air lebih bila dia keluar daripada air. Ingat dia memang guna paru-paru, jadi tak boleh ada air dekat dalam dia punya badan. Tapi bentuk macam hidung. Ada hidung tak kat atas. Come on ikan paus. Comel lah. Atau kamu tahu tak zirafah sebenarnya sangat-sangat ganas. Zirafah yang kita kenal saja mesti macam comelnya dia, panjangnya tengkuk dia. Tapi diorang ni kalau perlu singa pun takut dengan diorang. Sebab zirafah boleh pijak singa, and singa tu kalau silap cara boleh meninggal. Allah siap. And zirafah dia akan bergaduh. Awak tengok cara dia gaduh dengan sakit. Ini cara zirafah gaduh, nak dapatkan pasangan ke, gaduh mana manja ke. Ni gaduh betul lah, kau tu. Sometimes in worst case scenario one of the zirafah akan pengsan ataupun mati kalau lawan dia. Bayang dia libas tengku dan tengkuk dah terpengsan satu dah. Siannya. So yeah, bila one day awak pergi ke Afrika, dekat savana, careful dengan zirafah, okay?
Nobody needs to know. The Reynolds pamphlet.
So if you've ever been a kid before, you know what it's like to get into an argument with somebody about whether a tomato is a fruit or a vegetable. Now imagine how weird it is to grow up to be a biologist and now you know that, yeah, it's a fruit, it grows out of a flower, but it's also actually a berry because it has multiple internal seeds, and that's how we separate it from things like this plum, which we call a drupe, with only one internal seed. There's lots of different subclassifications of berries too, like this apple we would call a palm, or this cucumber we would call a peepo. These are both berries. You know what isn't a berry though? This strawberry. This is what's called an aggregate fruit. It's the result of one flower with lots and lots of different carpels that all fuse together once they're fertilized. This red stuff is just weird plant matter. The things that are actually fruits are the things that you would call seeds. Another thing that isn't a berry is this pineapple. This is what's called a multiple fruit because it's a result of multiple flowers fusing together instead of just the carpels of one of them. Every single one of these cells used to be a flower. And if you're noticing a pattern here, yes, every single thing that makes flowers makes fruit too.
I don't even know how to get. Okay, upside down snail in the water, but I feel like you need to get under the water to really see what the hell's going on. Look at that. That motherfucker is walking on water. This is a marine.
Look at that.
Dude, that is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. My sister will appreciate that.
Got me going jeans cause I'm cool with all the space.
Back in 1952, a pair of biochemists named Harold Urey and Stanley Miller did what is, in my opinion, the most important science experiment in the history of our species. They took a big flask and they filled it full of all sorts of chemicals you would expect to find on any early fledgling planet. Things like ammonia and nitrogen and carbon dioxide and water. Then they closed that flask up and let all those chemicals evaporate and condense and then get zapped with electricity a few times over and over and over and over again. And after about a week, they found that the water had become reddish brown and murky. When they opened the flask up and looked inside, they found it was full of amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, which had self-assembled totally on their own. This was the first major evidence for abiogenesis, or how life could possibly spring from non-living material. And it begs the question, if these researchers could do this with just a flask in a week, what could happen if you had a whole planet in like 1 million years?
Okay, I know this is going to sound really lame, just hear me out. Here are a bunch of insulting zoological names. Trust me, they're really good. And I'm not going to do a numbered list because I don't know how many I'll be able to get through without cracking up. Okay, first is Eulipatifla, which includes shrews and hedgehogs and all sorts of other animals, and their name means truly fat and blind. Okay, next is Cassia, a prehistoric synapsid whose name literally means cheese. Why would you do that to him? Look at him, he already has enough problem. Next is Scrotifera, which is an entire group of mammals classified as basically meaning just wild testicles. Next is a wasp whose name literally is ahaha. Side note, there's also a mollusk whose name is literally It's two A's. Ah. There's also boobs, who I refuse to not call boops. Speaking of fish, there's also the slippery dick. Okay, there's a plant, but its name is Rubus cockburnianus, also Introbogongainus, also Erimabades inuanus.
This stunning venomous snake is a fartolance. Well, it happened. I just poked myself with a fang. I was cleaning out our fertilance's enclosure and I felt a poke on my hand. I was wearing gloves. I went to lick my hand. I was like, don't be a fang. And sure enough, in the poop I was picking up, there was a fang. So why am I not freaking out? Well, in theory, because I found this fang inside of the snake's poop, that means that it probably got lodged inside of its prey. It swallowed the prey, it swallowed the fang, and then it pooped this out, and I did find it in poop. And what that means for me is most likely that while passing through the digestive system, all the stomach enzymes inside of the snake should have denatured any protein in the venom. So even though it's unnerving and I try to avoid it happening, even though I got poked by this very venomous snake thing, I'm probably gonna be just fine. Like and follow to find out. I'm just kidding, I'm gonna be fine. But I'm not kidding about the like and follow. Do that for more snake videos.
Ay, qué bonito cangrejo. Le van a medir así. No mames. Es un cangrejo Lego, se desarma. No se preocupen, el cangrejo está bien. Eso es algo completamente normal cuando... No mames. Lego, güey. Es un Lego. Como les decía, es algo totalmente normal. Es un fenómeno que se le llama autotomía. Cuando el cangrejo pierde alguno de sus miembros, suele suceder por estrés o cuando se sienten pues en peligro, ¿no? Suceder en cualquiera de sus patas. No hay ningún problema, vuelven a crecer y pinche... No, güey, no lo agarres así, va a soltar las otras. Los cangrejos tienen exoesqueleto, cada vez que mudan van regenerando sus tenazas o sus patas, lo que sea que hayan soltado. Todo bien, todo tranquilo, mientras ellos se las quiten, ¿verdad? ¡El cangrejo corre! Güey, tienes oportunidad, vete de ahí.